Welcome back to the Cossy Arsenal channel. My name is Cossy. Welcome back to a brand new video. We are still on that big breaking story on Viktor Gyokerez. Fabrizio has now reported that there is a total agreement on personal terms that has been reached between Arsenal and the player just in the last few minutes. And also, we have got a very big story from Portugal that there is an agreement on the fee, and that is about 59.4 million, which will be rising by another 13 million in add-ons. Arsenal are very close to announcing the arrival of their striker. Mikel Arteta has said, I want my striker before preseason, and we're getting Viktor Gyokerez before preseason. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well. I want to talk about what Arsenal could get with Viktor Gyokerez, what we could do with such a high-profile striker up front. Do you think that Arsenal win the Premier League with Viktor Gyokerez up top? I want your thoughts, honestly, on this one. Do you think we win the Premier League next season, with Viktor Gyokerez up top? Because for me, last campaign, Arsenal felt like they were so far away to winning the league, and that was because of injuries, that was because of the creativity that was lacking in this team, that was because we didn't have a good centre forward. There's so many reasons that Arsenal would have not won the Premier League. But if you fixed the defense, and you fixed the new goalkeeper, and you fixed the midfield, and you fixed now the goalkeeper, and we're working on Eze and Madueke as creatives, do you think Arsenal are now a big, household name in terms of winning the Premier League next campaign? I want your thoughts. I want your opinions in the comment box right below. But Fabrizio has just confirmed, just given us a very, very big story when it comes to Viktor Gyokerez. Again, it is progressing. Much of the here we goes, is coming. But he says that many of the little details are now being finalized. And he has just said right there, like you can see on your screen, that Viktor Gyokerez, more on the story, Viktor Gyokerez has now reached total agreement with Arsenal on contract terms and informed Sporting about his desire to join Arsenal. No intention to discuss with other options or other clubs, only to proceed with Arsenal as soon as possible. Deal well underway. The Swedish striker is 100% focused on joining Arsenal. And this is according to CNN Portugal, who are saying that Arsenal are set to pay 56 million, which is fixed fees in for Viktor Gyokerez. Fixed fee is going to be 56 million and 8 million to 13 in add-ons. And he says that a part of the 8 million or the 13 million, among the many difficult objectives that Arsenal want to set, is if the player wins the Ballon d'Or, or if Arsenal win the Champions League, if we become European champions. So we have an agreement on the price, especially what Arsenal are going to pay. We are now working around with Sporting to find an agreement on the structure of the deal. We also have an agreement, total agreement on personal terms. We've been discussing personal terms. We've been talking about personal terms. We talked about the 5-year deal. We talked about the salary that he's going to be earning. We talked about the agent fees. And yesterday, when I did this story, I said it is not true that Gyokerez was asking for a lot of money and Arsenal was scared. It is not true that the agent of the player was asking for a lot of money and Arsenal were running away. Because if a player rejects other clubs, for you, it means that your personal terms budget is in line with their personal terms expectations. It means that your agent fees are in line with the agent fees that Sentikaya Hassan, the agent of the player, is asking for. Great work, by the way, by Sentikaya, because Arsenal literally couldn't pull this off by themselves. He has had to do a lot of work in trying to convince Sporting that, listen, you're not going to get a lot of money. You can keep the player well and good, but what good is it going to serve you? You can sell him right this summer for 60 million pounds. Go out there, sign yourself a 30 million striker. You've got 30 million in profit. You've got you can even have 35. You can even have 40 million in profit if you invest the money wisely. And there's so many strikers out there that can actually come into Sporting and even be more devastating than Gyokerez. I'm lying, but I'm trying to defend my club here. So let's discuss personal terms. We don't need to talk about personal terms, right? I just wanted to let you know that Fabrizio said that in the last few hours, we've got a total agreement on personal terms, but we know it's going to be between 200k and above. It's very, very competitive for Arsenal. It's going to be a 5-year deal, and everything has been finalized as per Romano and David Ornstein. But we need to discuss that fee first before we talk about the impact of such a signing to Arsenal, right? Because it's a very, very big signing. For 59 million, Arsenal went into this market with a very, very big list of players to sign and a very big list of priorities and positions. That is the thing that happened. Arsenal went in this window asking themselves, what do we really want to do? We want a goalkeeper. We want maybe a defender if Tomiyasu leaves. We want one midfielder, but if Partey leaves, two. And then we want a left winger if we can sell Martinelli, and a centre forward and a backup for Saka. So Arsenal came into this window with 7 signings on their list, and I've reported this on this heavily. But, and this is a big but when we came into the window, right, things changed. Players started leaving and market opportunities started manifesting. So you had Gyokerez manifest as a market opportunity, and Andre Battle was like, hey guys, look, we could actually get Gyokerez for less than 70 million pounds. And for me, I think that's a very good deal. And Mikel Arteta was like, okay, let's look into that. So what Arsenal decided to do, because we had so many players to sign and priorities to fulfill, and this is like the ultimate summer. You either win in this summer or you're going to struggle in the next 2 or 3 years. You've seen how Arsenal struggled because of one bad summer. We have had like 5 consecutive good summers, or 4 consecutive good summers, and then one bad summer has made the team really look crippled, like we were to the level of a Crystal Palace team prior to the arrival of Oliver Glasner, right? So Arsenal decided we are going to work on all the priorities, but what we are going to do, we are not going to show clubs that we have a lot of money. We are going to sign players at favorable fees, right? And when everybody say, I think when we talked about favorable fees, people were like, Arsenal just don't want to spend money, Arsenal stingy. This is the first time Arsenal failed to sign a player because it's expensive, and I have understood and I've been behind the team. Kepa for 5 million, we left Jean Garcia for 25, I understood. Christian Norgard for 15 million, we left Luciana Goumet, who would have been more expensive, I understood. And the reason as to why Arsenal are doing this is they don't want any excuses. And listen, good work by Andre Bata. A good sporting director is not going to say we shall work on that next summer, because next summer is going to have their own problems. Next summer is going to have its own problems. So we waited and waited and waited patiently until we got the final say. And Sporting have finally agreed, they're like, okay, guys, give us the money that you want, but we are going to work around the structure. And if you remember, if you watch my videos to the end, I said this one is going to be where if Sporting win in terms of the transfer fee and Arsenal manage to pay 80 million euros, Arsenal will win in terms of the structure. Like, much of that 80 million euros will be paid across a long period of time. But if Arsenal win and it is a small fee, maybe 50 million, 55, 59, then Sporting will win in terms of the payment structure. They'll be like, okay, you're giving us small money. Can it arrive a little bit sooner? Can it come a little bit earlier? And I think Arsenal don't have a problem with that. That is why we're doing these deals in July. So, what do we think about the fee? For me, it's a market opportunity. One, a 27-year-old player is in his prime. Number two, he's banging in goals left, right, and center. He has disrespect and disregard for any team, right? He doesn't care about your Manchester United. He doesn't care about your Ruben Amorim. He literally told Ruben Amorim, get off my phone. You don't have Champions League, and you're calling me, and I'm in negotiations with Arsenal, a team in the Champions League. Get off my phone. That is the kind of player I want. And do you know who Arsenal play on opening day? Ruben Amorim. Jesus Christ, this is very, very interesting. But I want us to talk about the impact of Viktor Gyokerez as a signing at this Arsenal team. And number one, it is the statement of confidence that it writes and sends across the shop, across the board. Think about this. Listen, think about this. If you are Arsenal, right? And Liverpool have done the Florian Wirtz deal. And Manchester City, right? They've done the Tijani Reinders deal. They have rebuilt their midfield with Tijani Reinders and Ryan Sharkey. They brought in Ryan Enori as well. That's just, with City, they don't have to make like a big signing. They already have a manager who's already in the spotlight. Like him, Guardiola is like the statement of every season. So all he has to do is to get good signings. All he has to do is to get very good players, and it's enough to be a statement. And they did their deals very, very early as well. So when you think about the work Chelsea are also doing, Bino Gittens, João Pedro, I don't remember who else they have signed, but they're looking at Mohamed Kudus. It tells you that teams are preparing. And whilst Arsenal have been signing Norgard and signing Kepa, whilst these players have been very, very vital to the backbone of the team, they don't send any message. They, like signing Christian Norgard and Kepa, I'm sorry, it doesn't send any message. Like, should Virgil van Dijk be afraid that Arsenal are signing Kepa? Or should, Haaland be afraid that Arsenal have signed Kepa? No way, right? Or Christian Norgard. So the first thing that this signing actually does is to bring this layer of confidence and in the team, but also that element and that emotion of terror around our rivals in the Premier League, that Arsenal are not messing about. They've got Gyokerez, they've got Subimendi on the same day. We might be in for one of the best Premier League seasons ever. We might be in for a treat, and I'm going to watch all the games. All the games. I mean, it's impossible practically to watch all the games because we've got so many kickoffs that happen at the same time, and I don't have like a million TVs around me. But all Arsenal games is a must. If it is possible, all Manchester United games is a must. Chelsea games that I can is a must, and Man City, because it's going to be a very interesting season. So the first thing that this Gyokerez signing has done is write Arsenal's name among the challengers and contenders once again. I think we are going into a world where you cannot say, I'm a big team, I'll always go to the Champions League. I'm a big team, I'll always finish top 3, top 2. It's impossible. You look at Manchester City. Man City almost failed to get the UEFA Champions League, as well as Chelsea. But these are clubs that are working with massive budgets, right? And City, what they've done this year is impeccable. Nico Gonzalez, Omar Mamouche, Kusanov, and then Ryan Enori, and then Ryan Sharkey, Tijani Reinders. That is 6 signings, right? Someone might say, oh, Arsenal doing a lot of transfers, but City have just done 6 or 7, actually, right? 6 or 7 as well in the same year that Arsenal actually doing this. So for me, the Gyokerez transfer it will bring confidence into everyone at Arsenal, the players and the coaching staff and the fans. Number 2, guys, we finally have a number 9 in 5 years. We've got to talk about it. This is the signing of the transfer window, because in terms of need, right? Before the season starts, there is no signing that can beat this signing. No signing. Unless Arsenal sign Rodrigo. Unless Arsenal sign Rodrigo, there is no signing that is going to beat this. No signing whatsoever. Because one, Arsenal wanted, craved, I don't know which words to use, a number 9. And we were not getting one. We weren't getting one until it finally happened. Until Arsenal were given that green light to sign Gyokerez. So you add a number 9 to this Arsenal team, and yes, it makes us among the top 2 Premier League contenders next season. I think Manchester City are going to be a force to reckon with. I think Manchester City are going to be a team that is going to terrorize defenses. I think Manchester City are going to be a team that is going to rip apart teams. Don't joke with that guy that doesn't have hair on his head. He's going to be ruthless and merciless. But the departure of Kevin De Bruyne, how does that affect them? The new signings that are just coming in, 6 of them, and there's going to be restructuring. How does that affect them? Now, the advantage with Arsenal is you get a Viktor Gyokerez and a Martin Zubimendi, and the rest of the new signings can wait, okay? Our squad is okay as long as Zubimendi works in. In fact, you get Martin Zubimendi, he walks in. The rest of the other players can slowly progress into the team. But with Man City, De Bruyne is gone. And you have these new signings. I think Reinders will be starting a lot of games. I think Enori will be starting a lot of games. They need to adapt at right back. It might take some time to adapt. And what Arsenal need to go to do this season is get off the mark quickly. Like, win your first... our first fixtures are difficult. You have City, you have Liverpool, you have Manchester United, you have Chelsea, you have Newcastle there. Very difficult fixtures, right? But out of your first 20 games, can you win 15? Or, 15 or 16? Like, we need to run away with the points as quickly as possible. And that's why the Viktor Gyokerez deal matters, right? Because this is a striker that now defenders are going to be afraid of. You know who he is? You know Viktor Gyokerez? Defenders are going to be afraid. They're going to be terrorized. His rate of goal scoring is not normal, right? And he's one of those players that's going to get a chance, maybe not score, get another, and buries it. So, Arsenal are getting to solve creativity and the clinical problem in one take. Like, Zubimendi is penetrative. That's already confirmed, right? Then you're having Madueke, right? Which is a bad signing, in my opinion, honestly, because Arsenal could upgrade. Like, we don't need to take in Chelsea's vomit. We can find our own players and digest our own transfers, right? But with Gyokerez, he's going to spark the creativity out of Odegaard, out of Zubimendi, because he can have this burst of runs, and Zubimendi is so good at finding them, and Odegaard is so good at finding them. And when Rice dribbles and dribbles and dribbles, you're going to have a guy in Gyokerez that is going to create space for him to run into or to pass the ball into, and then, boom, Arsenal finish. Total agreement on personal terms confirmed. Price, less than £70 million. Arsenal are winning in each and every sphere of the transfer window. I mean, departures are not yet, but let's wait and see if we are going to get some good departures. Hit that button, subscribe to the channel. See you soon.